This week, Star Citizen Alpha 2.2 goes live. Jared talks music with composer Pedro Camacho, and we go behind the scenes with the orchestration of Star Citizen's soundtrack. All this and more on this week's Around the Verse.
Thanks to F9 and his fellow Star Citizens for making a pretty cool video.
Yeah, and the great thing is that these citizens all got together and they essentially made this battle like you'd make a movie. They positioned themselves and they schedule it all out, and it's just great that there's enough in the game already that you can do that, and there's just going to be more and more.
I feel like I should be invited as Pusher 42. Who are you in game?
I'm WC Low, if anyone wants to add me to their space battles.
Of course you are, Wing Commander. Hey everybody, welcome to Around the Verse. I'm Sandy Gardner and I am in charge of Star Citizens marketing.
I'm Ben Lesnick. I work with our community outreach and ship designs.
Breaking news this week is Star Citizen Alpha 2.2 is now available live. Alpha 2.2 is our latest major patch, part of our commitment to expanding the mini PU into a complete universe. Let's run down the features. Firstly, physicalized EVA.
Physicalized EVA is a massive update to how we do everything outside of your ship. You know, when you leave the docking ring and you float around in space, in the past it's kind of treated as an FPS level without a floor. Now the game correctly changes your center of mass, and your movements are much more fluid and natural, and it's a whole different experience for playing in Zero-G.
The reputation system, tell us a bit about that, Ben.
Reputation system is the very, very first touching on something that has been a big part of Star Citizen ever since the start, which is the idea of citizenship. There are people out there who are doing good and they're being rewarded for that, and there are people who are, pirates and marauders, and they have a totally different gameplay experience, but it's all balanced against each other. And now with the Mini PU, we've kicked off a smaller, 5-level reputation system that takes into account criminal activity. So if you're blowing up ships on the landing pad, or you're shooting down people who haven't attacked you, it's going to kind of count against you and mark you as a criminal. And there's different levels, 5 different levels, and sort of a cat and mouse game where people are rewarded for shooting down particular types of criminals. It's the very start of our reputation system. It's the very start of our bounty system. It's a lot of fun.
I love how he looked at me when he said criminals, but I am actually squeaky clean, I might like to tell you. The Saber is now flyable, and quite a few of our fans have a Saber, including myself. What about you, Ben?
I do have one. I'm looking forward to taking it out for a first spin. The cool thing about the Saber is, you may remember, it's one of the more recent ships we announced. In fact, it may have been the last concept ship we did. But this is an example of kind of the fully functioning ship pipeline for Aegis. You can go from a concept to a flyable ship much more quickly than we have in the past.
I plan to sneak up on WC Love, who has, as it has stealth features.
Yes, there's been some debate on this lately, but one of the key touchstones for the Saber is that it has these stealth features, low observability, reflective skin, that sort of thing. So it's oriented for much more maneuverable hiding gameplay.
And we have coolers, yay!
The coolers they seem like a small thing, but they're actually a big deal because they mark the start of our new component system. The design team has been working on this for several months now, And the idea is to make all the ships as customizable and sensible internally as possible. The coolers are the first use of the new system. You're going to see shields and engines and so on come online in future patches. And there's another surprise for the coolers, is that one of them is the J-Span cryo cooler that was the $56 million stretch goal. So if you pledged for Star Citizen before we hit 56 million, you already have one on your account. If not, you can pick one up on the Voyager Direct store and play around with it.
I am seeing that it says J-Span Cryostar.
J-Span Cryostar, that's right.
Yep. The Jean Scout is hangar ready, and mine looks pretty cool. It just reminds me of blades. I don't know why. It's very sharp and pointy.
Yeah, and it has this like movement even when it's standing still. They did a lot of great work on the art on that one, and people seem impressed. So.
And that will be flyable soon.
Soon, TM.
Soon, TM, yes. Damage states for the Freelancer.
We kicked off the Freelancer in Alpha 2.1 last month, and we had not finished the damage states yet. But now when a Freelancer takes a hit, it shows it.
All right, and changes to Crusader's environments.
You may have noticed that the planet in Crusader got a good deal smaller. That's to better match with the lore and to kind of position the system more towards its final layout that we'd intended. That doesn't mean that gas giant planets are leaving the game forever. It just means this particular one needs to be smaller because, as some of you know, we are building a facility right on the external surface where you'll be able to dock.
And that's not all. The patch is full of dozens of fixes, balance updates, and other improvements. I certainly know that Chris had been chasing this one bug.
Yes, actually, this has been one of my favorite patches to watch because Chris has been so personally involved, and he seems to spend all of his time.
He has been spending all of his time trying to find this bug, and he's like, "Oh, we're almost there." The other day, he's like, "Ah, we're almost got there." Him and Paul Rendell.
Yep, they were fighting, I think, a desync bug and the EVA transition, and hopefully, it's all working now.
And what else can players do in Star Citizen today for all the newcomers that we have on the show?
Well, in addition to the mini PU we've been talking about, where you can do FPS gameplay, grouping of up to 24 players, sort of experience the soul of Star Citizen. We also have Arena Commander, which is our dogfighting module, and the Arc Corp, which is our social module that gives you the walking around experience, see what our planets are going to be like.
And so now with 2.2 out, what is the team working on?
Well, 2.3 is next in the hopper. Some of the team will be monitoring 2.2 for the next few days in case we need to issue any patches for things that come up after it goes live. But a lot of the technical design artists and so on have moved on to 2.3, which will be the next set of larger features that we hope to get out in the not too distant future. Too early to spoil too many of them, but I've heard that a larger ship might be involved.
And don't forget that Squadron 42 is working diligently in the background.
Yes. It's the team is also working on Squadron 42 in the UK, which is our single-player adventure.
And the physical star map.
Yes, physical star map. You got the demo, didn't you?
Well, the sample.
Samples. I'm thinking game terms, not merchandise terms.
No, it is a physical poster that some of you bought back during the start of the campaign. So you will all receive that, and there will be provision to change your address and do all of those good things. So don't worry, you won't miss out if you already got one. And if you would like one and did miss out the first time round, let us know on the forums. Maybe we can start a thread and see how many people would like one.
It's pretty cool. It turned out very neat. Check it out.
Check it out. We've also kicked off temporary sales of the Sabre and also the Jean Scout in honor of 2.2.
And do you want more Star Citizen development information straight from the Space Horse's mouth? Well, we are kicking out the February monthly report tomorrow. Check it out. It's kind of our document of record put together by the producers at 6 different studios, telling you exactly what the team did each month.
And Reverse the Verse has reversed course. I don't know.
Great line reading.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Check out the most recent episode of our new format of our live show, designed to keep backers updated on the week's news. And we'll be doing it again tomorrow. There's a proper format, so we don't talk about useless things. What we had for lunch, how the hair's doing, all sorts of things.
My hair is doing fabulous.
Of course it is. Alexis does it, so it looks good.
And happy birthday to Wing Commander 4, which turned 20 years old this past month, February. Sandy actually pointed that out to me in an email last night. He was like, we got Wing Commander 4.
I did. I was looking at Mark Hamill's Instagram, and somebody in there said, "Oh, this was way back when I was playing Wing 4." And then I asked Chris, and I said, "When did Wing 4 launch?" And he said, 1996. I said, "Well, it's the 20-year anniversary." And of course, Ben knew the exact date, and here we are.
This was Chris's last contribution to the Wing Commander series, and it goes above and beyond in everything. It was a 6 CD-ROM game full of full motion video with Mark Hamill, Malcolm McDowell, John Rhys Davies. Sort of like Star Citizen.
Are you an Aurora pilot who received an invitation upgrade to a 300i? If so, then get it now. It finishes on Monday. It was originally supposed to finish Friday, however, people asked for an extension. So Monday, get in there.
Let's check with our students from around the world for more details on Star Citizen's development.
Hello everyone, I'm Darian Borlick, Production Coordinator here at Cloud Imperium Games Los Angeles.
And I'm Owen Batchelor, Lead Vehicle Artist.
And we're here with this week's update. So from the production end, we are pushing up the next part of the 2.2 patch. So that is inching towards completion. Hopefully any day now, we'll be getting it out there. So our tech design team and engineering team are working on clearing as many of those bugs to get the stability and bugs out as quickly as possible. So I think we've got a couple nice items on the ship side.
Yeah, we have, aside from actually having to fix some bugs for 2.2, some of the major things that we're working on right now is retrofitting some of the older fit ships that are already done, such as the Gladiator and the Hornet, to move all of the screens in the cockpit to fit with the new UI guidelines. So basically, this is going to physicalize most of the screen displays inside of the cockpits.
Nice.
And those are two of the main ships that we're starting to do that for, so that's pretty cool.
You got a Caterpillar update, right?
Yeah, so I actually the pose. I just finished working on doing some tweaks to the design block out for the interior of the Caterpillar. So we're at the very beginnings of production on that. There's a lot more work to do, but it's pretty cool so far.
So that's what we got from Los Angeles. So once again, I'm Darian Borlick.
And I'm Owen Batchelor.
Signing off. Thank you.
Hey guys, Jake Ross here, Associate Producer of the Persistent Universe, and I got some little updates for you this week about what we got going here in Austin. So first things first, I want to talk about locomotion sets. So we've gotten some data back from Imaginarium. We're going to be starting to help out with some Squadron 42 stuff, starting with some locomotion sets for some of the characters you'll see in game. First and foremost, we're going to be starting with Admiral Bishop's locomotion set. So it'll be really cool to get that up and running, along with some other characters that I won't name right now. We'll be tackling those here in the near future as well. Friend System 2.0 has just wrapped up work. It's left testing phase, and now it's on to UI. So the back end work was done here in Austin by Tom Sawyer, kind of revamping that system so it's not housed in the platform, but rather in our back end services. We've added various functionalities, including an ignore list now, so you can ignore people if you want to. I know some people will be happy to hear about that. So now it's up to the UI guys to implement that on the front end, and we'll get that out to you here in the near future as well. Last thing I'll mention is this week, hopefully by the time you're watching this video, we'll have pushed 2.20 to live. We got some brand new features in there, and hopefully some of you have been able to test some of those out on the PTU, including the new hostility system, as well as some new ships to fly around and view in your hangar, amongst other things. So 2.20 is a nice new patch or new release full of brand new stuff for you guys to check out. Hope you guys are enjoying it, and we're on to 2.30 after this. So that'll have even more things to look forward to. So that's all I got for you this week, guys. Thanks. See you around.
Hi everyone, welcome to the UK. I'm afraid you're just stuck with me. For this week, it's basically going to be a quick lowdown on all the things going on here in the UK that I think could be of interest to you. It's just a high-level list and a small snapshot of what's going on here that I think would be of interest to you. So let's get going. So the FPS team now putting the physicalized EVA work to one side. We've got that now in test. It's feeling pretty good, we think. It's all working with the environmental collisions and hopefully feeling good to you guys too. So now we've got that extra resource to spend. We're going to be putting that more onto FPS player traversal, getting the player feeling good. We're on foot, just generally how to move around, and also looking to add new features, abilities to traverse in the environment, such as vaulting and mantling. The player health system on the character side of things is also now tested out. We're going to be doing a debug prototype to see how the penalties work with what affects your health and what doesn't, what feels good, and then before we start adding in the other tasks from the other more downstream departments, and getting that feeling really good before we go ahead and sort of polish it up. Interestingly, the Vandal character design of that alien race, at least for the warrior side of things, that's been nailed down now, so that's going over to character art. That's really exciting. The Idris, I'm sure you're all still waiting to hear on progress on that. The flight issues we've been working through, just generally just playing it, getting bugs in, figuring out new tasks needed, and there's a lot of underlying systems that go into that as well, the item system and how the piping system works for the kind of general management of the ship. And the live team have been breaking down designs for other ship systems such as cargo, refueling, mining and interdiction. So yeah, lots of stuff going on here, and that's just a small snapshot of it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the verse.
Hey everyone, Brian Chambers from the Frankfurt office. This week, what I thought I'd do is bring in Francesco Roccucci, our lead AI programmer. He's been in here with me before. As I mentioned in the last couple updates, we've, amongst other things, pushing all over the place on different disciplines. We've also been pushing a lot on AI, both NPC AI and ship AI. We had Chris out here and Tony and a whole kind of group. So I thought I'd bring Francesco in, kind of talk about, a little bit what they went over, the plans they put in place, and what him and his guys are currently working on.
So hi everybody. So basically, last weeks have been like very busy and very interesting because we laid down a big plan for what we want to do next. Yeah. And these weeks, basically last weeks, we mostly focus on 3 different things. So one is perception. So we continue the work that we kind of announced already in the previous also ATVs. So vision was already done. We finished the audio perception, and then now we moved into conglomerate, basically, or accumulate all this information into one central place, and allow the behavior tree basically to collect the information about the target the AI wants basically to use for its normal tasks. So that is going very well. The target is connected with the zone system, so we are already supporting all the moving objects in the world, and being able, for example, to track one guy that enters into a ship, and then the ship flies away, and then I still want to track him and shoot him. So that works.
Well, what would you say, honestly, out of the stuff that you guys covered and you're either working on now or is coming up in the near future that you're the most excited about?
So for perception, I think the most exciting thing is the power that gives us for the actual behaviors. Yeah. Basically, like all the group behaviors that we will get in the next weeks that we will start to work on. With this perception, basically we are allowing the NPC to request the targets of their group mates, so they can basically go and help other people because they can understand who they are engaged with.
That makes it more immersive.
It makes it more, like, I think the experience makes it a bit more balanced first of all, and then more real, because you see that if somebody comes to help you and you ask for help, usually I know the context by your request of help. And basically we can simulate these type of things.
That's cool.
The other thing we really made big progress and good progress is subsumption. So basically I'm working a lot with Tony. Tony is working on the concept of the tool and the tool itself. So he's basically, with his first high-level design, he basically created a tool that allowed designers to create subsumption tasks and activities and sub-activities. And basically what we do is basically now we are working very close together, and I'm taking the data that the tool outputs and create like the actual code that runs in the engine to make this real.
I've seen some of the designs on once subsumption's in place for AI, kind of where it's going to go and how it's going to have a play and other things. And it's a trip. It's stuff that absolutely is possible with the tech we have that's coming online, but stuff that I haven't seen like appropriated in the way that we're appropriating it.
Yeah, it's great because basically, for who doesn't know too much what subsumption is basically this way of creating the right now, at least at the beginning, is to create the idle behavior. So all the things that are not happening during combat, but to allow people to have special jobs and routines, and how these routines are created. Like, so what are the tasks that you actually do? So if I want to come here and answer the phone, I will just come, I will search for a phone, I will pick up the phone that is ringing, and then I will talk to somebody, right? And then we can basically create all these things with designers. And what I'm really excited about is, like, first that we lay down the code in a way which is super optimized. So like, having 50 characters doing stuff right now is a matter of kilobytes in memory.
That's
so
cool.
basically we can run it on a Commodore 64 or something.
And that's one thing I actually always push back to and always remind people. I mean, us taking a little bit of time, extra time maybe, if you will, to create a solid foundation enables things to be more efficient, to be more robust, to be more optimized and all that stuff as we move forward from day one.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this one really gives a lot of flexibility. For example, the tool from Tony has a way to express in a conditional form some query. So imagine if you want to say, I want any object on this table that is gray or black and is a phone. And then you can basically express it like a Boolean condition. And then we wrote our own parser that is very efficient as well, and he automatically connects to both, tag search or environmental search, and that is like allows us basically to now, when you have a good foundation, you can just extend much more in the long run. So
of course. I know you probably have more to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you off.
That's fine. Next time we'll have more stuff.
Absolutely. As always, again, thanks for everybody for watching and backing us. We're having fun with doing what we're doing, and we love seeing you guys' comments and everything. So, till next week.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys. This week's Around the Verse is all about the music, which means it's time to visit Pedro Camacho, the man responsible for Star Citizen's score and several pieces that you're probably already familiar with.
Thanks, guys. On this week's ATV interview, we're sitting down with Star Citizen music composer, Mr. Pedro Camacho. Pedro, how you doing, man?
Mr. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for having me here.
No problem, man. We wanted to get you on the show for a long time. I honestly don't know what took us so long, but I'm glad we're here. I'm glad you were here.
Well, I think there are more people that deserve a spotlight than me, to be honest. It's a really large team, and everyone is here really super talented and really dedicated to this project that we're doing. Really, we're making some history here, I think, and it's been great. So I'm just one of them. So thank you for finding some time for me.
No problem, man. I think the hardest part is that, because the community team is so LA focused, it's hard for us to get stuff from the other studios worldwide and you. For instance, why don't you tell people where you live? You live on an island, don't you?
Yeah, I live in Portugal, in an island in Portugal. It's Madeira Island. It's a really nice, inspiring place. It's we have really great weather here and really great nature, and also technologically speaking, it's also pretty much advanced. We have everything that anyone could need. I've got all the movies that goes any cinema. Now they're actually. Internet here is fantastic, actually, because curiously, I've met several people in U.S., you name it, many countries that have really lousy connection and difficult. Right here is really good service, good quality of service. So really, it's really nice here. So to make music, it's all you need is have the right idea.
Well, it sounds perfect. I'll be over in a week.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. And by the way, I will invite you in the end of the show to become here. I'm serious about that. You wouldn't be the first, so please do consider that. It's really great, and you will be well treated here.
Well, if we do our job right, while you were talking there, we put some pictures up of your island, so people will see how beautiful it is.
Yeah, well, if you put pictures from nature, they may seem that I'm like a lone guy in the middle of the jungle. No, so just kidding. No. Okay, there's some good pictures from here.
Okay. So let's start at the beginning here. We did a inside CIG with you years ago, but we've gained several 100,000 Star Citizens since then. Let's introduce you to everybody. Who is Pedro Camacho? Who are you?
Citizen of the world and Earth. Now, my name is Pedro. I've been doing Star Citizen music for quite a long time, mostly since the project started. It was a very curious moment to me. I actually mailed Chris because of a funny thing that happened to me. And this is a bit personal, but I'll just I think it's okay to me to say it. I heard in that day, I knew Star Citizen was being done. I just love, I was a Wing Commander fan. I was just, this was a perfect project for me. And I remember us playing Wing Commander with my father, which has died a long time ago. But, it's a very personal thing to me, really, really personal thing. And he loved Wing Commander as well. Wing Commander 1, he could only see Wing Commander 1. Anyway, when I heard for the first time the heartbeat of my son, he was still in my wife's womb, he was still not born. I heard it for the first time in the echo, I was extremely happy that day, really, really happy. And I thought, you know what? I'll just email Chris and let him know. I didn't tell him about this lousy story, otherwise he'll just close the email. I was very, precise to the point that, hello, my name is Pedro, I would like to do a lot of work for you. He probably got thousands of emails. And I did that. And for some reason, in that same day, he heard it. He read it, and he heard the stuff I just said, and he liked it. And so that's how it started. And so he gave me some. The first work I did was the 300i commercial. It was a moment that I think this funding in Star Citizen was kind of stalled at that moment. Kind of it grew a little bit, but then it was kind of not going too far away. We were still struggling. And it was an amazing team. We had Hans Appel doing the cinematics. All the team that we had back then was a really talented team doing 3D and models. Chris Roberts were really... So we created a very small group in the end, which was me, Chris, Hans, and a small cinematic team. And I remember that was basically my first, my first big test. My first big test. We have to cut.
Are you being invaded?
I'm being invaded, basically. We made that. So that was my first opportunity, basically, my first public opportunity. I remember Chris gave me a temp track, which was really one of the best movie tracks that we had recently in cinema back then.
What track was it?
I'm sorry?
What track was it?
Oh, good question. It was from Man of Steel. One of the tracks from Man of Steel. It was a really, really great track. So, and I did a completely new thing, of course, but Chris really liked it. I remember he saying when I sent it, he said he completely forgot about the previous one, which is really one of the best things you can hear from a producer, because usually the temp music is something that has been with them for a long time, and it doesn't happen every time. After that video got publicly released, funding from Star Citizen really ramped up a lot. And then I scored Aurora commercial, and then the Hornet commercial. Besides doing some stuff for the game, the first they nicknamed it Launcher Music. It actually was a piece I did initially with another thing in mind. because back then it was kind of stuff for eventually for Squadron 42. It was not very. They didn't even know very well what it was going to be used for, but they used it in the launcher, so everyone was very nice to me. I remember being a bit afraid that if can do whatever you want and maybe the Chris would like it, but will people like it? They were fantastic, really, really very supportive people. A community really is really supportive. We have a great community. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this game is have really great guys with us, and that's what makes it worthwhile for us to be here. And at least for me, I can tell you, I don't do music to get praise. I do music because I'm passionate about it. But knowing that people are out there waiting for it makes me want to question myself every time I do something, and I say, "Is this really good enough?" There are people that they're placing their own money to. It's kind of different. It's kind of different. You get like the feeling is what they're placing in the project. Is what I'm doing to the project worthy of the effort they have? Some people are wealthy, and this is little effort for them. I know most people that place money in the project are not. It's for their savings. That's something that you should always have in mind. People that they have to make options in life, and they did an option to support us. So we have to do our best, not just good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something,
Absolutely. That's never far from any of our minds every single day.
Oh, I know.
It's the people have put an amazing trust in us and an amazing faith in us, and that's never far from our minds. That informs every action, everything the community team does, everything the designers do, the artists do. It's we know who we're working for.
Oh, yeah. And I feel that from Chris, always. Chris is very, very sentimental about, hey, did you see the From People to Planets video last month? That in December, that was crazy good. Could you imagine that? I was blown away when I saw it. It was very lucky for me, a honor for me to score it. And thankfully, people also enjoy my music. So basically, that's it. That's what I am for Star Citizen. I've been doing like all this mostly since the start.
What influences your music? Like what have you seen and experienced in life that's influenced your music that you're composing for Star Citizen?
That's a great question. As a person, I look at Star Citizen as a way to go back to childhood, like kind of a way for that. It's was sort of my dreams. I used to look at the sky and imagine what's out there, and it would be so cool to see the stars and travel through them. So that's one part that I bring into Star Citizen. Another part is definitely movies and games that I played, which one of them was Wing Commander, but a lot of movies as well, because in the 80s, mainly, I was born in 79, so 80s was really important part of me. And, for movies like Star Wars is obvious because everyone knows that, of course. But there are plenty of other great movies. Last Starfighter, Aliens. And other movies as well, like Gremlins. Oh my God, there were such great movies with a certain sci-fi. Oops, sorry, I touched the mic. Sometimes it doesn't have to have spaceships. The Gremlins was a great new movie. Movies where melody was when it was like Queen or King or however you want to name it. That's also something I try to bring back I want to give Star Citizen, make a sound that has a certain melodic identity. You can feel the passion in it. I want not too over the top, but that you can feel actually, you're playing and say, yeah, Jesus, that's good. That's what I want to bring in. Yeah, probably that. My music is very influenced also, classically speaking, and many composers, and lots of them from Renaissance. I love Renaissance music, and I base a lot of my harmony, etc., from there. Like Josquin de Pré, stuff like composers people usually don't hear a lot. And then, of course, like classical composers like Beethoven, Mozart, and some people that some of them came later on. We're talking about Messiaen, Ravel, Debussy. I like the French school a lot. Not so much the Wagnerian, probably. A bit Frenchy style, Frenchy kind of touch in terms of classical. It's that's what I like. I really like that. Of course, I spoke about Beethoven. I love Beethoven. Who doesn't? The Ninth Symphony is probably one of the best stuff that ever happened. And well, I can tell you, I live Star Citizen in such a way that when we were in the last orchestral session we had last week. And we were in Central Europe recording a fantastic orchestra, like huge size. Really, I actually had some tears coming out of me during when they were performing one of the Arena Command theme that I did, which is my homage to my old sci-fi. It's not actually the kind of sound that I want to bring into Star Citizen, but So yeah, that's just it. There's a lot more, but it's very difficult to explain.
Absolutely.
It's very difficult.
Absolutely. Well, Pedro, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back in a little bit with a behind-the-scenes look at how you actually make the music. So, folks watching Around the Verse, stay tuned. We'll see you in a minute.
If someone were to ask you, what is speed? What would you tell them? Is it simply a measure of distance covered over time? The magnitude of velocity? Or is it something more? At origin, speed is more than a number. It's a state of being. Speed is a shock to the soul. Speed is a call to action. Speed is introducing the 2943 300i from Origin Jumpworks.
And we're back. Now, on this week's ATV Behind the Scenes, we're here with Pedro Camacho, and he's going to take us on a brief behind-the-scenes look at the recent scoring session and some of what came out of that. So, Pedro, welcome back.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hope you enjoyed your break. So, you just had a scoring session like last week. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was a crazy amount of work. So we did a lot of new battle music, actually. But also, we recorded the Arena Commander theme that some of the backers might know already. Because a MIDI version, not very final, kind of went through and to the game. It was actually part of the launcher for some time. And now we actually record everything. And it was, it was great fun. It was really great fun. A lot of pages I really, in the end, we had I don't know, but probably near 800 pages of music. So there was a lot of music. It was a lot of music and very little time to place it, because you're always trying to correct things and doing things better.
Absolutely.
And so that was very cool.
How long did you guys record? How many days?
We recorded for 2 days for now, and we'll come back in April and record another 2 days, and so on. I believe. I'm not sure. So
gotcha. And where
as much as needed.
Okay. And where did you guys do the recording?
It was in Bratislava, so in Slovakia, and it was a great orchestra. By the way, it was one of the best. We initially used one orchestra in Czech Republic, which was also really great. This one was is an orchestra that has been used and by the same fixer that has done a lot of big film and game soundtracks. And actually, when we were going to record, it was the previous day they were recording something for Lego, which is also Lego Star Wars, I believe. So something like that. So you can see it has a really great orchestra, really large orchestra. So really good hold, really good, really the top that you can get in the world right now. Some of the top, yeah.
Cool.
Really great.
Well, I understand you've got some stuff you can show us.
Oh yeah, sure.
The fruits of your labor.
Yeah, I thought about sharing with you is just as quickly as possible a little bit of how the process is done. Maybe that's just what I'll just share my screen right now with you so you can get an idea. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can see it right now.
We see it.
Okay. All right, nice. So this is kind of one of the screens I have. I have several screens. I have 3 screens. This is just one of them, and it's full HD for you so you can see it. So when you compose something, you actually first you make like a MIDI mock-up so that people like Chris, mainly Chris, actually always has a final word in each music I do. Also Lee Banyard, who's the audio director, and ultimately all the audio team, because we all work in a team. In a team, because the team is what makes something work, not someone alone. But to make it a really good template, so you need to have all the instruments in orchestra and non-orchestral stuff, like you've heard from People to Planet music, which is very hybrid and start, and then it ends more like orchestral. But so I've got in both libraries with many instruments for orchestra. Let's see if I can try to play some of them. Just a second. This is one of them. So there are many. This is an oboe. There are many kind of oboes, so many kind of sounds. Trumpets from both public and private libraries that I've done through time. And let's see if that. Something like that. Just horns, etc., and goes down to strings, for example. So this is actually a private library that I own, that I've been using for starters. Very, very good and very, very realistic. So we create that, which is already really realistic. We show it to Chris, and Chris said, yeah, this is great. Let's put that in the orchestra. So if we put that in the orchestra, if it's accepted, which usually is, then we have to make the scores. And just to get an idea, I'm looking at here. So, okay. Yeah, for example, here it is. So I create the full score. I use a notation program to actually write all the notes. This is a lot of pages, as you can see. Just this one is 59 pages because you have to do every single instrument in your orchestra, full score. Then you have to edit every part for each guy in the orchestra to see just their part. This is actually the Arena Commander theme. As you can see, this is open. This is not the best PDF viewer, but okay, that's what opened there now. I'm not going back. So that's it. And then after that, you get, you go to Bratislava like we did, record the full orchestra playing. You'll see some videos about the orchestra doing some stuff right now, so you can get a sense of the scope of that. And then you get the audio back from the orchestra, which has a lot of mics. It's just a couple of them, but there are a lot of mics. And then when you actually get them, you can mix and do, and hear some of the you can hear some seconds. This probably you hear this more completely in the soundtrack that you should pre-order, of course. That's just a very small taste of that, so you can hear that. This is actually a theme that means a lot to me. It's like sci-fi, like an old school sci-fi homage to the scoring of sci-fi movies that Chris felt it would be really good to have in Arena Commander, like as if Arena Commander was like kind of a time machine in terms of music. Maybe that was something really cool to be done. So it seems very fast in here, but it takes some time to do it. But it has to be done pretty quickly because there's a lot to be done. And that's it.
Well, that was astounding. I love that thing. A little behind the scenes. Pedro sometimes shares his music with me early, and he shared that with me like the day after that was recorded, maybe 2 days after recorded, and that was when it was, this is so amazing. I need to get Pedro on the show so that it's an excuse to share just that little bit with people. so thank you very so much for coming on the show, Pedro, so that I had a reason to share just that much with people. Pedro mentioned the Star Citizen soundtrack. That's in production now. We're putting that together with the folks of the UK audio team and Pedro. And you said there's possibly another scoring session in April.
Yes, there's another scoring session in April where basically we have a lot of music that is already sounding, in my opinion, pretty well. Like the music you heard in the commercials, for example, that's one of them, the 300i, which is, I like it very much. That was all done. Unfortunately, there was no time back then because that was it was in MIDI. So there was not a live orchestra that you heard. So for the soundtrack, this is something that I know many people are sharing the tracks around, and there's a lot of stuff, people have been taking out of the game, placing it on YouTube. But for the stars in the soundtrack, we will have all that music actually performed within our orchestra as we promised. So we are recording everything. So there is no MIDI in it, except some synthesizers like for a hybrid track, which is the usual. Yeah. But the core orchestra sound is actually live persons that are being performing it and giving their also passion into it. And then all that stuff will be mixed in one of the best mixing studios in the world. So not what you've been hearing in the game so far have been temporary mixes. So hopefully it would sound. I'm pretty sure it would sound a lot better. So we'll get. I want people to have. That's my goal, and that I want people to have that CD in and actually enjoy it outside the game. Just enjoy it to be, have a good moment. We're trying to make the CD as as broad as, like, as if it was kind of a story that's being told. And so it's not always battle music, which is kind of really good to be hearing in a game. But in the soundtrack there can be some examples of it. But if you're just hearing battle, it's kind of like okay. I don't know if I want to hear that every time I'm at home, but probably we'll have a much improved version of the star map music, for example, because which is one of the stuff I like. Very simple, but I think it's very soothing. I like it. I like to hear it personally. I shouldn't say good things about my own work, and it's very sad. Very sad.
I'll share another behind-the-scenes story here. Pedro sent me the star map music about a week or two before the star map went live. That was about a week, actually. It was just a couple of days. I was in the middle of the CitizenCon slight where I hadn't slept. I was 8 hours sleep in 5 days, cutting together the various videos. And he sends me this, and he goes, listen to this. Does it sound good? And I listen to it, and I'm like, Pedro, it's awesome. It's always awesome. And he goes, yes, but I need you to listen to it for 8 hours. Do you remember asking me to listen to it for 8 hours?
I remember that.
I need you to listen to it for 8 hours and tell me if you get sick of it. And I did.
Exactly.
And I did. And I didn't do it with headphones either. I unplugged the headphones and I made everybody in the community team listen to it for 8 hours. And they may have hated me, but we did not get sick of it. So that was a true testament.
That's a great sign. After 8 hours, you hear the same thing and not get tired of it. That's also another good aspect of game music. Is something that is a lot of repetition, so you shouldn't be too boring after a couple listens. So some hours is always a good stress test. So I will have some soothing music like that, music that is a lot melodical, and of course there's Arena Command Theme will definitely be there, like in the end, as a homage to our backers. So that track, to me at least, is like a homage to our backers, because I don't know if this is true. Maybe there's a lot of young people with us, which is great. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people around our age group that are born in the 70s, 80s, and have this world of 80s culture, and this is kind of our tribe to that. And I really hope they enjoy it. I really hope so. We're doing our really best we can to make sure it's not. We have more music. We can't put everything there. At least right now, I'm pretty sure there will be extensions. I'm not really sure. But my goal is, if I can have one CD, maybe the soundtrack will have more, maybe can have two. But if it is one CD that I can take to a car or something, now we probably use more USB sticks anyway. But okay, if there is I prefer to have, this amount, like 1 hour of music, then I go through a travel. I travel to a place and I just enjoyed the experience. That's what I would like the soundtrack to be.
I have no doubt that's exactly what it will be. Pedro, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us on a Saturday, get this recorded. We'll let you go get back to your family. And
that's fine. Thank you. Right. That's perfectly fine. It's a pleasure. It was really a pleasure to speak with you. And thank you to the team, and to every backer that's out there that has been placing trust in us. You can be sure that we are doing really our best we can.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Pedro. Chris, Ben and Sandy, back to you guys.
Well, that's music to my ears.
All right, moving right along. It's time for this week's MVP. Ben, the envelope, please.
Dun, da, da.
Wow, we have one. Yay. And the winner is Imperial News Network, INN, congratulations. INN does a lot for Star Citizen, but did you know that in addition to putting together transcripts for Star Citizen about CIG's broadcasts, they also provide closed captioning for those same videos on YouTube?
Yeah, the great thing about INN is they remind me of the Wing Commander fan site I ran back in the day. There are plenty of amazing Star Citizen fan sites out there, but these guys are one of the ones that goes above and beyond, and we wanted to honor them in some small way this time. So thank you, INN, and you're transcribing this right now.
Well, they can't because we talked over each other.
Who will know what we said?
And now it's time for this week's art sneak peek.
Be sure to tune in to Reverse the Verse tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll be talking about that art sneak peek, answering your Star Citizen questions, and updating you on the status of a great many things.
Yay, and it's on Twitch.
On Twitch, 11 a.m. Pacific.
Thank you, as always, to all of our subscribers for making this show possible. We will see you next week on Around the Verse. Did you know that many of Star Citizen's developers are on social media? If you would like to follow Star Citizen on Facebook, you can find us here.
Or on Twitter, here.
And even Instagram, here.
And for a full list of developers' personal accounts they're willing to share with the community, check out this link. You can find out what I bought at Amazon this week.
Star Wars stuff.
It was probably Star Wars stuff. They actually had a print ad campaign for Wing Commander 4 where they advertised it was coming out December 8th, 1995, which was an 8-month development cycle since Wing Commander 3. And like a lot of Chris Roberts' projects, it was a little bit later than intended. And I just remember that being the longest 2 months of my life. So when our backers are waiting for a ship or a feature that isn't out yet, I totally understand where they're coming from. There was actually a DVD version of this game. It was the very first PC game released on DVD, which has high-res video instead of the super compressed Zan movies that came in the original release. And that's the version that's on GOG if you want to check it out. You see a lot more of the sets than anyone ever intended. Now, if you have a copy of Wing Commander 4, you can actually tell what edition you have based on a small typo on the front of the box. If you look closely here where it's supposed to say biological, the first print run, the first day release, say biological with a G. So that's your trick for identifying Wing Commander 4. I don't know if Chris knows about that.
Don't know.
And the interesting thing about the Wing Commander 4 manual is it's largely an excerpt from the novelization, which came out almost a year later. But there's all these details that are totally different from both the game and the finished printed book. The class of ships changes, the names of the characters change. I've done some close... Wing Commander 4, everybody.
Do you like